All right, welcome to the video on Hooked on Scouting bean bags. Right, there's a lot you can do in scouting with bean bags. Zulu Toss was one of Baden Powell's favorite things, and so that if you don't know how to play that, you've got to learn that one. And that's it, as usual, that's in the leader guide. But I'm going to show you how you make fish bean bags. And once again, you do need, just like the catch and release game, you're going to need that fabric that you can buy. There's 2 sets of fish on 1 yard of fabric, and you do have to start with that. But let's go to some close-ups for bean bags. Alright, so to make a set of bean bags, first of all, you are talking about 12 fish from the freshwater field guide. Again, take your resource sheet for that poster, but they're really fun. That's what they end up looking like, and I'm going to walk you through it. So, first of all, you cut out your fabric, cut your fish out, not close. Leave as much space around your fish as possible for this first step. And anyway, the black spotted cutthroat here I'm working with, and then you're going to be putting these together. And there's a couple ways you can do that, but you need them to line up, right? You need the front to line up to the back. So you can do what's called pin matching. So you put the pin like there, match up that same part of the nose. You hold that pin tight with your hands, and then you put another pin. So you do key points, like I like to do points of the tail, like this. Do another one here, because you want them to align, and it's actually very important. So you're going to pin base around the whole thing. I am going to show you another way to do it. Pin base or pin matching works really well, but if you happen to have a light table, some people do, and it's just a table like this, position here, that projects light on top of a surface so you can see. And so in this you can actually see if the fish are lining up, right? So here they are. I don't know if you can see that really well, but light tables work kind of nicely, and especially if you have this is a craft magnet that is called by a little company called So Tight. So you can put a magnet there on that side of the fish, and then you can line it up so that all the fins match there, and then you can just magnet it, right? So that is another way to get the fish lined up, because you need them perfectly lined up before you start sewing, right? So again, if you got the handy dandy thing, that's great. If you don't, you can use pins. Right, so I'm gonna get rid of this table here. Now, then what you're going to do after you have your fish pinned, you're going to go to the sewing machine and you're going to sew them, which I will show you. Alright, so now I am sewing one of the fish bean bags, and what you do, you can see that the foot of the sewing machine is along the edge of the fish. You don't have to be exact, but it gives a nice margin. And then when you're doing this, you want to anchor that, so I'm going to go forward and back, and then you just go along. And again, this is not exact sewing. Whenever you pick up your presser foot to turn, you need to make sure that your needle is down, otherwise you won't like the result. Things get all tangled. I'm doing this on an old machine because my new one's in the shop, so you can do this on a really simple sewing machine, and then you just go around. Whoop. Super easy. Again, don't be really exact with these bean bags. I'm going to turn around here. Down, pick it up. So tight off as I go. you don't want to do is make a sharp point when you're doing bean bags. You always want to, let's have an example here. So the needle's down, I pick this up, I sew a couple stitches across, 1, 2, and then go around here, get that fin, because the fabric won't turn. That's the issue. Alright, get close to the end here. And make a stitch there. And we got a big fin, a little fin coming up that's a little fussy, so leave it down. Do 1 or 2 stitches in the corner so it'll turn. Now, what you need to remember to do is leave yourself an opening to turn the fish. I usually do it underneath when you have a little of a flat area. So I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to turn. And then I'm going to take that little stitch right there. And this is I just went backwards. And then I went forwards. And that is all there is to it. Right, here you have a perfectly sewn fish. It's so tight magnets on, so I'm going to take those off. And one of the things that's really important, we left this gap for stuffing, which you need to do. And then you're going to get some trusty scissors and you're going to cut around. Now don't cut too close. You definitely don't want to cut the thread. About 1/4 of an inch away is good. So you're going to cut around the fish all the way around, right, until it looks, until it looks like this. Alright, here's a cut fish. This little chub, which I like. Now, one of the things that's really important before you start turning this fish is to clip into any convex, anything like this. You don't have to worry about this, ones that are out, but anything that is concave, there we go. Anything that's concave like this, you need to clip. Don't clip all the way to the stitching, of course, that's not good, but you need to clip in. And then do not, with this part of this opening where you're going to be turning the fish, leave a good margin of fabric. Don't cut close there at all, because you want when you're turning, you're going to have to sew that. You can get rid of a little extra fabric in some areas. Alright, so this little chub's ready to turn. And when you turn these fish, I recommend starting with the tail. So you stick a finger in there, or stick a couple fingers in there, and then you just go along like this, so until you can grab the tail and then push that tail through with your finger. There we go, here it comes, and then you pull it. This is the chub's actually the smallest one, so it's the trickiest to turn. So you're going to do like that. Alright, so at this stage of the game, what you definitely want is some sort of a turner tool. So, because after you've poked as much as you can, you need a poker tool. Just a chopstick works great, because then you poke it in the hole and you got to poke all parts of the fish out all the way around so you don't miss any fins or anything. So there we go. Here's Cheerful, our cheerful little fish. Looking good. And poke all the parts off. Out like that. Excellent. Alright. The chopstick worked great. You don't want anything too pointy because you'll break through your stitching. Alright, so I'm going to do that. Now it's time to fill the fish. Alright, rice works better because it's smaller. You don't need to buy synthetic anything. I use pinto beans and other types of bean bags, but those are too big for the fish fins. So you're just gonna put your rice thing in there. Start sticking some rice in. I think it's better to fill, kind of get it down by the tail first. Kind of shake it down. All right, fill that fish nice and good. Don't want any wimpy fish. All right, so work it in there for a while. Da, 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 da. All right, there we go. Fill it all. And there's only so much rice you can get in there, but you do want to have a nicely filled fish. Alright, I'll finish this up and show you what you do next. Alright, my fish is all filled with rice, as stuffed as I want my cheerful chub to be. Then you take a pin on that opening, shut, like that. And then, sorry, there's some hand stitching. This is just a needle and thread, and you're just going to whip stitch that opening shut. And you might want to have a thimble nearby because you are going through 4 layers of fish there. And that is a whip stitch where you just go around. You're going to see where you sew it. That's fine. Again, this is a practical scout tool, not something you're entering in an art show. Alright, so you're just going to whip stitch that whole thing and your fish will be done. I do want to show you my first fish though and encourage you not to do this. If you're wondering why, I left that wide white on the border and didn't sew right on the fish. Well, this is why. This is the first one I did. I thought, oh yeah, I'll make it exactly on the fish outline. It's cute, but it's nightmare to do, nightmare to turn and stuff, and I highly recommend not doing that on the bean bags. So that is how you make a fish bean bag with our fabric set. So once you have all those bean bags done, it's kind of fun to put them in something. So here's an additional idea for you that the scouts thought were pretty funny. So you take a bucket and you just glue some felt teeth for shark's teeth, and then when you're playing various games with your fish bean bags, like Scout Law bean bag, or where you row your boat, fish toss bean bag, all those things which are in the leader guide, the things you can do with bean bags, you have a fun thing to toss them in. Just remember to weight your shark bucket before using, say, with a Nalgene, otherwise they will tip over. Alright, have fun with the fish bean bag for Hooked on Scouting.